God of War is a non-stop 25-hour ride filled with action, emotions, and breathtaking cinematics. As someone who had no previous interest or emotional attachment to Kratos prior to this game, his new rebooted persona and story made him one of the most relatable characters in video games. That and his developing relationship with his son Atreus ended up being one of my favorite games of all time. God of War on PS4 takes place after the events of the original series of God of War, but completely shifts the tone and theme of the game series as a whole. Where Kratos was a flat personality character filled with rage and hatred in previous games, he's more of a strong, withered man in this new entry. He's still a man with a hard shell around his emotions and anger, though the time that's passed has let him reflect on his actions and story. This change in personality made Kratos a much more relatable and generally likable character. His relationship with his son is a frail one that's still developing. You essentially see the bond between father and son evolve as these two embark on a mission to fulfill the last wishes of their now deceased wife and mother. These two share a long and bumpy past, and as the player, you'll learn more about it with the small conversations they have throughout the campaign. Kratos is still learning to be a father, and Atreus is learning to be a warrior. The star duo are accompanied by a solid cast of supporting characters, each with their own unique motivations. Ranging from some serious to some humorous supporting casts, their inclusions were the icing on the cake rather than feeling like unnecessary padding to the story. The story's villains are intimidating and powerful, leading to some of the most cinematic gameplay moments in my gaming history. Though I would love to see a bit more of the main antagonist in the game, the time you do spend witnessing these villains are outstanding and mesmerizing. The reimagining and continuation of the God of War series was a delightful ride that meshed everything together into a beautiful masterpiece. God of War on the PS4 is a very different game from previous entries in the series, where its predecessors took the camera pretty far back for a more action-heavy hack-and-slash type of game. This new entry in the series changes it up. The camera is right behind Kratos on his shoulder for a more up-close and personal experience. Gone are Kratos' Blades of Chaos for the new Leviathan Axe weapon, and holy crap is the Leviathan a fun weapon to use. Early on you can do a quick or heavy slash that can mix and match for some pretty simple combos. The real treat though is being able to throw the Leviathan and then immediately summon it back to you like it's Thor's hammer. It's so damn satisfying to throw it over and over and over again. Over the 25-hour campaign, not once did I get tired of it, and that's in part to the perfectly placed sound effect and slight rumble effect paired to the action. Kratos doesn't just stay static in his moves though, he has a well-crafted progression system that makes it fun to unlock new moves and attacks for him to use. XP unlocks new moves and skills that either one can use, ultimately fleshing out the ways of attack at your disposal. You can get Atreus to attack stunned enemies or give Kratos a buff on his Leviathan Frost at the end of a combo, just to name some examples. You can then change up the moves you've activated to fit the appropriate scenario. You'll find that later bosses in the game sort of force it upon you to change your way of approach against them. That variety in combat and well-done progression system is appreciated, as you'll find yourself constantly fighting enemies. These enemies aren't slouches either. You'll come across smaller grunts that you can easily take out with the Leviathan, but also larger enemies that require precise aim and better strategy. The best of these enemies are of course the major boss fights that make you use your entire moveset throughout the battle for some of the most adrenaline-pumping cinematic boss fights. The game is kind enough to even treat you to one of these boss fights pretty early on in the game for one of the best openings in a game I've ever had. You can also equip Kratos and Atreus with armor and general clothing, each with their own added effects on the characters. These upgrades can be purchased from merchants throughout the campaign, or you can just find them in hidden chests throughout the world. Speaking of chests, that brings us to the other half of the gameplay, the puzzles. God of War cleverly has you use the Leviathan and Atreus' bow and arrow in interesting ways that make up some environmental puzzles for you to solve. You'll come across vines that you'll have to cut through in a single throw in order to open up a path or unlock a chest hidden away somewhere. Other chests will have you looking for codes in the environment that you tend to have to activate in a short period of time in a specific order. The puzzles aren't that challenging, though they do provide a nice change of pace from all the action in the game. They also add a decent amount of play value to the game for any completionists out there trying to find all the treasure chests. God of War is an exquisite looking game. From the moment it begins to the moment it ends, the game never cuts away once outside of having you respawn if you die. However, that continuous view and pacing kept the game feeling more immersive, never letting you break away from the experience at hand. That experience includes insane cinematic set pieces that take you across multiple terrains, from the snowy tundra to the colorful forest. On a base PS4, the game runs at 1080p 30 with a performance that's mostly solid. There's an occasional frame rate drop during cutscenes that transition from one area to another, like when Kratos opens a door into a new backdrop. You'll also see performance take a hit during heavier particle effects, like when you first start fighting enemies at the start of the game here. Other than that though, the game ran really smoothly with better performance on the PS4 Pro. On the PS4 Pro, you can activate the frame rate mode that runs the game at 1080p, though at an unlocked frame rate that averages in the mid-40s. There's also a 4K mode that runs the game at a checkerboard 2160p at 30 frames per second that looks sharp and stunning. If you only have a 1080p TV but still have a PS4 Pro, you can actually run this at a higher resolution and then get it super simple down to your TV, still providing a much sharper image than just a traditional 1080p. God of War is certainly one of the most cinematic and visually pleasing games of this generation, but it's certainly no slouch in the music or voice acting either. Bear McCreary has outdone himself with this soundtrack because it's been stuck in my head for this past week. I've literally worked out to the theme song of this game over and over again this week, it's just that damn good. While the theme song in particular is slow, heavy, and epic, there's a nice variety of songs in this game that play along with the emotions and fantasy backdrop on screen. Witch of the Woods, for example, has a sense of wonder and uneasiness to it, as you end up exploring one of the most colorful parts of the game. The variety of tracks dance beautifully with the action on screen, from the heaviest moments of family to the senses of danger in the song The Dragon. Voice acting is incredibly well done with solid performances from Christopher Judge as Kratos and Sonny Suljic as Atreus. Christopher delivers some powerful and heavy lines that solidify Kratos' new withered yet wise personality. You can't help but use the word boy so much after playing this game. Sonny also delivers a great performance as Atreus, accurately portraying a young boy that's had to deal with a lot, yet is still trying to be the proud warrior that parallels his father. Someone that his now gone mother would be proud of. He actually kinda sounds like Aang from Avatar The Last Airbender. It was kinda trippy, but I liked it. God of War is a masterpiece. From the moment you start the game to while the credits are literally rolling, there's non-stop action at an incredible pace that just keeps you saying, okay, just 10 more minutes. That 10 minutes then becomes 20, then 30, then another few hours until you realize you've just been one of the best games of this generation. God of War took a character I hadn't cared about for the last decade and made him one of my favorite characters in gaming, wrapped up in a beautifully woven together game that I hope leads on to a new series of games just like it. If you have a PS4, you owe it to yourself to play this game, and if you for some reason still don't have a PS4, add this to the top of the list of reasons why you should get one. If I didn't have to build a cardboard piano for my Nintendo Lambo review this weekend, I would certainly be replaying this game right now. That does it for my review of God of War for the PS4. If you have any questions about this game or upcoming games you'd like me to review, let me know in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like, hit that bell icon next to the subscribe button to be informed when I upload a new video. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.